Hello, beautiful people. You are listening to the Keep It Cute podcast, and I am your host, Amber Simone. So, in honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I wanted to amplify some badass women and men who are doing amazing things in their community. So today I have Saskia here with me. Saskia is absolutely a gem. Saskia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm a little nervous.
I was like, guys, she's the social media queen. I'm like, but I understand when those lights and cameras get in your face, it's like, all right,
yeah,
this is real.
I know. I love chit chatting, but once the cameras are on, I'm like, oh,
no, I know. Some things, like some conversations, I'm like, oh, I should have been recording that. But then I'm like, actually, no, I'm glad there was not a camera on me at that time, just because obviously sometimes you don't feel as comfortable.
Yeah.
But I promise I'll make this as easy as possible.
Oh, Amber's the queen, so I'm not worried. I'm in good hands, y'all.
Saskia came in here. She was like, girl, I'm taking notes. And I'm just like, I appreciate you, but do not take my notes. I'm like, you are the one who is doing it big. Like, what is going on in your life right now? I know you were just at Coachella.
Yes.
Like, what's happening in your world right now?
Right now, I've been telling all my friends that I'm in my boss bitch era.
I love it.
Can I curse on here?
Yes, yes. I was like, I know we keep it cute, but a boss bitch is cute.
Yeah, boss bitch. I'm in my boss bitch era. Coachella was really great. I've been in a really good space recently.
Beautiful.
Like mentally, February was a crazy month for me. And then like March was like, I was on the come up. And then April after Coachella was just really great. I just like spent time with my friends. I have been like spending time with my family, doing work. And yeah, just like living my best life and like embracing my boss bitch era. Usually I've been not like insecure, but I've just kind of hidden that part of myself. So I'm like really coming to. So I'm really enjoying that time of my life.
I've been hearing that a lot lately. Like one of my cousins just had a birthday and she was like, this next year, she just wants to embrace like who she is and stop like kind of hiding. She was like, she kind of ducks off a little bit, but she was like, I'm about to get dressed up this year. I'm going to be outside this year. Like I want to do the things that I enjoy. So whatever that looks like, being with family, friends, like it's always nice.
Yeah. I don't know if it's, my birthday's in May. So I think it might be like
Are you a Gemini?
season. No, I'm a Taurus.
Oh, okay, good. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I love a good
I'm surrounded by Geminis. I love
like
them.
too much.
I love them though. I love them.
I love, and you're an Aries, right?
Yes.
I love good Aries. But yeah, Taurus season is like my season. So I think now it's like coming into that time. And I'm just like not being afraid to be seen, like really just, posting and like doing all the things that I've always wanted to do, but I've been like so afraid to do. So I'm just like stepping into that time of my life.
I love
which
that.
Which is really great.
Yeah. I can't wait to see you pop out on the gram with the birthday photo, Saskia.
I'm in planning. You're invited. We're having a beach bonfire. Okay,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah. So,
girl, well, I love to hear that you are doing great. I kind of want to segue into really a little bit about your cultural background.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear about your traditions, like what you love about it.
Yeah.
So where we can start is, where do you come from? Like, what is your cultural background?
Yeah, so I'm a first generation Indonesian-American. So my parents immigrated like in the year I was born, 1997. So they came and like moved to LA. So I've been born and raised in LA. I was born in Montebello, California, East LA. Woo, we love East LA. But it's just my family and I here in America, really. So like all my extended family's in Indonesia.
Wow.
Yeah. But we were able to like build really, like there's a really strong Indonesian community here.
Yes.
I mean, like there's really a lot of pockets of Asian communities in LA. Like there's a Korea, like K-Town, and there's like, like a lot of Chinese Americans are in like the SGP.
I was just in Little Tokyo.
Yeah, Little Tokyo.
There's little like pockets everywhere.
Yeah, so there's little pockets. And like the Indonesian community here isn't like crazy as big as like I would say other Asian communities, but I think it's really tight and like it's like small, but like people know each other, and so a lot of my family moved to Montebello, which is like 20 minutes outside of LA because there was a big community there, and like a lot of people like young Indonesians moved here and then like grew their families here. So a lot of people I know are like family friends that I've known since we were little because we all kind of grew up together.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So that's where it is. And most of my family is like in Indonesia. So we go there every couple years.
When's the last time you visited?
Yeah, the last time I went was in 2019.
Okay.
That was
that's still really recent.
Really recent. Right before, it was like right after college, right before COVID, like the year before COVID. And then we haven't been since, but hopefully it could go like next year, this year, next year. Yeah, I really want to visit. And
are you taking Nick with you?
Yeah, well,
Nick is Saskia's boyfriend. They've been together for 8 years.
8 years.
I absolutely adore them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, we're going in like we went in 2019. That was his first time.
Okay, so he already went with you.
Yes,
cool.
So he already went, and that was like a very formative trip for me, I would say. Yes. There was a lot going on, like family-wise, but then also having my boyfriend who's like a white man coming in and like experiencing the culture and like wanting to show him like, you know, this is how the culture is. And it was great because he loved it. He like really embraced it. I think Indonesians, whenever they see like someone of another ethnicity going there, they're like, oh my God, a tourist. Like, let me, you know, treat them so well. So it was really nice. Going there and him like visiting my family, all that stuff. It was really good. It was a good time.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm looking forward to your next trip, honestly.
I know. I want to just go out and like have a ball in Bali.
Yeah.
That's where we went.
Do you talk to your family frequently who are still in Indonesia?
We do. So my mom talks a lot to them. Like technology now, so there's FaceTime.
Girl, like everything.
FaceTime. And now they have Wi-Fi. Like my family, my grandparents' house, they are like in a smaller village in an island called Lombok there. And when I was younger, there was like no Wi-Fi, no technology. But now like there's like Wi-Fi and they could FaceTime. So my mom keeps in contact with all her sisters there often. Or like Facebook is like the best place.
Facebook. Our parents love Facebook.
Yeah, they love Facebook. And like my dad's always like putting updates on there.
Yes, and that's so cute.
Yeah, so Facebook is good. But I usually kind of keep up with my tech savvy cousins. Like there's one cousin that I really love who's like close to age with me that I talk to often. But yeah, for the most part, it's kind of like I see them whenever I go there and then we connect. Like time doesn't pass, you know, when I see them. But,
I love that.
But yeah, a lot of change during the years in between.
Yes. But it's nice that you still found a community here.
Yeah.
I feel like you can find a community in anyone who's not a blood relative, you know, like whether that's someone you met at church or at work, like it really just depends. But outside of obviously building community, like what are some of those family traditions that you still take with you, or what's one of your favorite traditions that you've experienced thus far?
Yeah. With, I think tradition, I think always in like Asian culture, it's like always centered around food. That's the biggest thing. And so I'm not a practicing Muslim, but my family is because like Indonesia is the biggest Muslim population in the world. Wow. It's huge. And so my parents, we celebrate Eid Mubarak, which is like the end of Ramadan. And so that was actually like a couple weeks ago.
Yes. And I've been seeing all the TikToks, everyone going through it together.
Yeah, like the fasting, like the going home and like fasting and then breaking your fast together. I think that's been really like a tradition I remember since I was little. And then like at the end of it, Eid, where everyone goes to like different houses and like celebrates together. And it's literally just eating. Like we just go over to eat, or like we hop to house and we eat. And so like that's been like a tradition. It's kind of sad now because I feel like a lot of people my age were all like kind of grown adults and doing other things. So I really look back fondly on like when I was younger and like seeing all the little kids playing together and we like that was the time
that was me.
That was me. We'd all get dressed up and we'd go eat and we'd go hang. Like the parents would chit chat and talk. So that was like something I really liked. Or like I remember looking back fondly.
Yeah, definitely. You talked a lot about food. So what's one of your favorite foods? You're like, if I had to take this for the rest of my life, this is the one thing I'm eating for the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
At least from your Indonesian culture.
That's a deep question.
I know. If it's like 2, 3, 4, you're like, wait.
I'm like, I can listen all off. It's just crazy because like my mom, it's so sad because I'm like, I want to really like learn the recipes from my mom. Yes. And for her, she's like, it's not that hard. But I'm like, I don't know where to get the spices.
No, I know.
Stewing this for hours is like a lot. Like I don't know how to do that.
But I just used a crock pot for the first time.
Oh my God.
And honestly, I was getting a little impatient. I'm like,
really?
16 hours in the crock pot. Like, can we just...
Yeah, it's a meal for the next day.
Yes. I thought I was going to eat it the same day, but it's okay.
It's the next day thing.
It's fine.
For Indonesian food, I really like, there's this thing called bakso, which is like noodle soup, like chicken noodle soup, but it's like with beef balls and noodles. It's kind of like pho.
You make me hungry.
Yeah, I love that.
I haven't ate much
today. One place that my parents love to eat, it's somewhere in Roland Heights, is like what we call nasi bungkus, which is like rice wrapped in banana leaf, and inside it's like wrapped with like chicken and like a hard-boiled egg and like veggies and like rendang, which is like a beef. And so they like wrap it all with like sambal, which is like chili sauce. And then like you'd open it and like eat it and it's all kind of mixed together.
Yes,
but like that's like one of my favorite, like when I think of Indo food or like whenever I crave it, I like always want to go there with my family.
This is the one thing I know I want.
So like when I see my family on Sundays, so they're like, oh, where do you want to eat? I'm like, oh, I kind of want to eat there.
You're like, every week we're going here. But I love it.
Yeah,
like,
there's just so much in the cuisine, and I love it because like my boyfriend, Nick, he loves it too, and he could eat spice way more than I can now. Like it goes through me, not gonna lie.
Yes. You're like, I gotta chill out.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I can't eat that. I can't eat it like that no more. But yeah, and like food from even Indonesia that I can't get here, I like think about sometimes too. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go to Indonesia to like eat some of that, like street food. It's like really good. Or like satay, beef satay. It's always pretty good.
Yeah. Every time you travel somewhere, it's like the food's never the same when you come, obviously, back to America.
Yeah.
Unless you find like a little shop somewhere and like in a smaller community.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Brandon and I went to Thailand a few years ago. And that was my first time having mango sticky rice.
Oh my God.
We came back here. And when I tell you, I was like looking for the same mango sticky rice. And it just was not hitting like it was.
Yeah.
Mangoes aren't ripe. Like, it just was not good at all.
They don't make it the same.
No, I know.
Here.
I understand what you mean. You're like, I probably can't get this here at home.
No, same thing. We went to Thailand too, and there was like a stall with like, they made like a seafood noodle thing with mama, which is their like ramen, the Thai version of like ramen. And I was like, oh, I think about that all the time. Like, I wish it was here. I try making it by myself. It's still not the same.
Yeah, you're like, something's off.
Yeah, but going to those cut back home, like going back to the countries, it's like street food is like everywhere. It's so easy to get and it's so cheap. But then like you just pull up in your little motorcycle and you're like, hey, can I get this? And then
I know.
You just go off.
And you pay like $2, $3.
Yeah. And so here it's like not the same. It's like restaurant, and even then they don't like sell it the way they do
100%. It's always out here, it's super fancy. Even the street food, I'm like, $5 a taco. Like, what is going on?
No, we don't pay $5 a taco here. $2 at most
Saskia,
in LA.
I'm like, what is going on? I love that though. I'm like, definitely one day I'm like just learning about different foods.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you build community, and it's a really good way to like learn about someone else's cultures, like through food and conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it's always a natural way to, I don't know, get to know someone.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I went to Hot Pot yesterday with my friends at Heidi Lao, and they're
I love.
Have you been Heidi Lao?
Yes, in Century City.
Yeah, Century City is so good. And so I had a couple friends who had never been to like a hot pot experience, and it was just so crazy to see them. I'm like, oh, for me, I go like with my family all the time. We like go to like, you know, Chinese restaurants, hot pot, KBBQ.
Yes.
And like they hadn't experienced that. And I was just like, whoa, like you guys are missing out. And they loved it. They were like so excited. They're like, let me get my sauces. Like they're just so amazed. And so I was like, we need to go more to more Asian places, because I feel like Asian cuisine especially has some sort of experience with it.
100%.
Like hot pot, it's like you have to like cook it and all that stuff. It's not just like a sit down, they present you your plate.
Here's your food.
Yeah. Or like KBBQ, like you could either cook it yourself or someone's cooking it for you. So it's like very interactive and community, like a lot of talking. So I think that's like always the center of like Asian culture. At least for me, is like food is just brings people together.
100%. Yeah. Like in the last few years, it was my first time having a KBBQ experience, eating hot pot. And then also like my first time going to Din Tai Fung was like a few years ago. But it was so like, when I tell you, after eating Din Tai Fung's dumplings, I was like going to like small hole in the walls. I was like, if Din Tai Fung can make dumplings like this, like I want to taste like some authentic dumplings. And like I am obsessed with dumplings. KBBQ, like you said, like the experience of cooking your food, and then Haidi Lao, like the spices and the sauces, like it was so good.
Yeah.
I was like, it was so delicious.
Yeah. If you want to ever come over to the SGV, San Gabriel Valley, I can show you all the authentic stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Like just even like Din Tai Fung, it's so, I feel like, now commercialized. Like there's a lot of different 100%. Places that I love it, but then also love like the small mom and pop restaurants.
And just supporting the small mom and pops.
Definitely. Like in Monterey Park, there's a place called Mama Lou's. Check it out, y'all. Mama Lou's.
Shameless plug.
Not sponsored.
I know.
But they're like very similar to Din Tai Fung. And that's where I'm like, if people love Din Tai Fung, I'm like, oh, let's go to Mama Lou's. Cause like that's where I go with my family. And like,
wait, is that close to you where you live now?
Not right now.
Okay. I was like, we can get dumplings anytime.
Yeah, but it's not too far. It's like maybe 15 minutes out from downtown LA.
Okay.
So it's not far.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Girl, I'm like, I know you said we got to get food together one day. And we'll make that happen after this podcast, guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm such a foodie. I'm like, Amber, let's go. Everyone, like even my friends yesterday, I'm like, let's go food tour, Asian food tour. Because just like community. I have a lot of Asian friends too. But then it's also so fun introducing people who aren't like Asian or used to like even coming from different states. Like it's different. And so I forget that. Because I'm like, oh, I'm just so used to it. I like grew up in a very Asian community that I forget that other people haven't experienced it. So 100%. I love like bringing someone to like a new restaurant or something. Yeah.
Speaking of experiences, so this is a little off topic, but like you mentioning taking like someone to a new experience and you're like, oh, like everyone else has actually not done this before. So guys, last week, we took Saskia and Nick to Cirque du Soleil for the first time. And I think it was the Corteo show. And when I tell you, they were so in awe. And obviously, like to us, we're like, oh, like it's Cirque du Soleil. Like we love seeing, obviously, it's acrobats and it's magic and it's dancing and it's performances. Like it's an absolutely amazing, what'd you say, gob-stopping show?
I was gobsmacked, jaw dropped.
Yes.
That's, oh my God, I thank you so much for introducing me to the world of Cirque du Soleil. Because I was like, mind blown. Nick, I've always wanted to go. And I'm like, oh, it's, I've seen friends go, but I never knew what it was.
Yeah, and you'll see it on billboards. But it's like, I see a lot of stuff on billboards.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. And then I did not expect that.
Yes.
Or I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. We were just amazed. I was like,
yeah, every time we would look over, it's like, we've been to a few shows. We went to one in Mexico. There's been a few out here we've gone to. And I feel like Brandon, he's probably been to like double the shows that I've been to. But then bringing you guys with us and it being your first experience, like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I could only imagine when you bring someone, for example, to a Din Tai Fung or to a mom and pop shop of food they've never tried. It's like, same vibes.
Yeah, like what have I been missing all my life? Why haven't I been going to Cirque du Soleil all my life?
I know.
But yeah, it is like that. Like at Haidi Lao, everyone was just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And I was like, wow, like I'm so used to this, or like going with my parents. And I do enjoy going with my family, but like to bring friends there where it's just like a ball. Like the whole time we're like, Heidi Lau, Heidi Lau. Like we were screaming to the waiters and they were like, what's going on? I know. Like, this is so fun. So that experience was just like, oh, I can't wait to like, I think especially when I was little, it was like very hard to share my culture with people sometimes, or people already had understood the Asian culture. Like they're like, or, you know, other people were like Chinese or Korean or Japanese, you know, like in the community I grew up in. So either I kind of like took it for granted or like sometimes I didn't want to share my culture, especially in college. Like, I don't know, like it just was kind of like, it felt different than what is like the usual American experience. So now knowing that they're like, oh, we love this, I'm like, oh wow, like having pride, like of showing them a treasure that they've never experienced has been so nice to include. Yeah.
And I feel like it's a new thing too, you know, everyone like celebrating different cultures. Like honestly, not too many years ago, like obviously I feel like everyone was kind of like on the low. Maybe some people were more vocal about the things they love. But I feel like now like we're in an era where we can really take pride in who we are. And it's a good feeling because then like for those next generations, like, no, like you will be prideful about, you know, where you come from and your values and just everything that comes along with it.
Yeah, it was very like I think back to when I was younger, I did Balinese dancing, which is like traditional dancing from the island of Bali, which is in Indonesia. And it's like really different instruments and like it not usual piano guitar that you'd usually see. It's like traditional instruments and like traditional dress. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very colorful and it's like usually around a story, but it's like through dance. And so I was doing that since I was younger. And when I was like in elementary school or like maybe middle school, my mom was like, you need to like perform that at the talent show. You need to do that at the talent show. And I was like, no, I'm not going to perform that at the talent show. That's so embarrassing. Are you kidding me? And then, but now when I look back at it, I don't do it anymore, but I've always had those inklings where I was like, oh, like maybe I do want to go back and dance. It's just, sometimes the time commitment, but I'm like, I have a busy life.
We're getting older.
I have a busy life. I'm getting older, but a lot of the people there, it's kind of like their extracurricular. There's like a troop dance group that does it regularly, and that's who I used to dance with. And I think back at it, I'm like, oh my God, that was like such a special hobby that I got to do that not a lot of people knew about or like were aware of. So now I'm like, oh, maybe this conversation is making me think back to like, oh, doing it again. Cause now I feel like if I performed, my friends would come out, everyone would love it. Like,
we would be there with signs.
Yeah. But like, it's just crazy how like when I was younger, it was just like, oh, like I'm so embarrassed.
Yes. It's like that. Cause honestly, like when we're kids and our parents are like, no, you should do this. Or like, perform for your school or your friends, you're like, oh, bombastic side eye.
Like, don't look at me. I don't want to be perceived.
Yes, girl. I hear you 100%.
Yeah, but now I'm like, oh, I want to really show the culture, or like I need to just pull up pictures now and like I'll send them to you.
Right? You're like, go ahead and insert that at 23:49.
Yeah, you'll be like, whoa, what is this? Like so different. Because like the makeup is just like so different, but I just like now I'm very proud. Like I love seeing that. And like sometimes I've seen videos of it on TikTok. I'm like, oh my God, I love Balinese dance.
Oh my God, you do have to share those photos with me.
Yeah, I have to find them. Yeah. It's like on my dad's Facebook or something.
Oh Lord. Thank you so much for sharing beautiful pieces of your culture with us, Saskia.
Of course.
I want to get a little into some of the amazing work that you're doing to amplify Asian voices, whatever that looks like at work, in your outside life. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, I work at TikTok as a social media manager, editor for the US and global accounts. So at TikTok, if you see anyone commenting on as TikTok, me or someone on my team.
Saskia.
Someone on my team. And I think for right now, this month, we are doing just like as a cross-functional. Wow, very corporate jargon. Sorry.
Right? I actually said cross-functional like 3 times today, so like, you're not alone.
Sorry.
We've been brainwashed.
Except then, wow, no one's gonna know what that means. But we are doing a thing where in past years we've done Trailblazers, so people in the community that have, you know, blazed trails and like really made a name for themselves. But this year, I think we're doing something called Visionary Voices. And so those are just individuals who have made an impact in their community and on TikTok. So that includes like small businesses, creators, and just industry disruptors, people who are doing like big things just even outside of TikTok. So we're amplifying them and really sharing their stories and getting to know them. And yeah, I'm doing like a little segment on food as well, just like not just on those creators specifically, but just like the community in general, like within TikTok. And
a food segment. I'm like, we can never escape the food.
I know. I feel like food is just, that's how like, I feel like Asians, and maybe I'm generalizing, but this like from personal experience, like how people come together. Like my dad, I guess segue, little tangent, but my dad, he went viral on TikTok once because, on my account, because I recorded him every day when I was working from home in like 2020. He would come and like, he'd like bring me food. He'd like walk in my room. He's like, knock, knock, hi, here's like lunch. And I recorded him because it was like the same thing every single day. And he went viral on TikTok and he got posted. There's a Facebook page called Subtle Asian Traits where people just post like Asian memes or like talk about stuff. And it got posted there and people were like, oh my God, your dad's so cute. So yeah.
That is adorable.
Yeah. So food, I think, is just like, that's how a lot of, especially like I would say first generation parents or immigrant parents show love to their children or like to the people around them. So I think that's why we're like focusing. I wanted to focus a little bit on food just because there's so many great like Asian creators too who are like in the food, who really are foodies. Yeah, like
Korean vegan. I was like, she's really big now. She has a book. She's popping. I know. I was like, she's really big.
She's an industry disruptor. She's like really going off. And then just even her talking about her like family story, I think resonates a lot. Her and like Casey Young, I've been watching her a lot. Yeah, it's just great. So many food creators on TikTok that I'm excited to like show them and like support the small businesses that are like also in food. Big theme food, I guess. That's for me. I love to eat. But yeah, so yeah, we're just like amplifying our visionary voices and just like the community in general. I think it's so diverse and can be like one monolith of Asian, but there's so many different types of Asian.
100%
of Asians in the community, especially on TikTok. And it's really cool. Like we all come from different backgrounds, but a lot of the creators on TikTok that I get to like watch all have a common universal experience that they talk about. And sometimes it's conversations we've like never talked about before until like people share it on TikTok. So it's really, really nice. So hopefully sharing those stories too.
Yeah, I was like you mentioned, there's a lot of things, even prior to TikTok. Obviously, TikTok is full of education. Yeah. And you learn something every time you log on. Every time someone tells me like, oh, I don't have TikTok, I have a, what is it, obsessive personality or something, they're like, I will get addicted. But also I'm like, there's a lot of pros to it because when I go on, like you mentioned, like being in the Asian community, like underneath that tree, like there's so many different types of people. Yeah. And then underneath that, there's so many different types of food and like different education. Like there's so many things that go into it. Yeah. And like when I log on, like someone I watch is Food with Soy. Yeah. I think I met, it's like she's so sweet. Like literally, I remember I met her at a food event actually. Yeah, I was like, she's so sweet. And Jessica, I'm not sure about her last name, but she makes like the really cute lunches.
Oh yeah, Jessica. I love her.
See?
Soul. Jessica Soul. I think she's Korean. I'm not sure. But she makes it food for her children.
Yes. And like she'll do little cutouts. Like there's just so many different things. And then she'll add her chopsticks in there and like add little tidbits of information in her videos that it's really informative because without that, like sometimes you just wouldn't know.
Yeah, definitely. And just like the culture role, they add a little bit of their culture into it. Like, you know, I follow a lot of Korean creators or like Japanese creators or Chinese creators, and they're all so different. And I love how they like insert like a tidbit of knowledge of like just what their family does because it's like, I feel like a sort of kinship because I'm like, oh yeah, we're Asian, but like the things that they do can be very different than like what my family does or like what other Indonesians do. Yeah.
100%. Girl, I love to hear that. I'm like, even a big thing like with the Keep It Cute podcast, I'm always like, I want to amplify voices. And literally that can be anything under the umbrella. And so like when we work at these corporate companies, like being able to do that, like it means a lot because I'm like, okay, what is my purpose here? Like what kind of mark am I leaving behind?
Yeah.
So obviously like, you know, being at those companies, it's like, who's really going to do the grunt work to amplify certain things? So like, as you know, like getting Asian families together sometimes is bonding over food.
Yeah.
And maybe like someone who's not in the community, they wouldn't know that. So like you being able to amplify that during AAPI month, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I think like places like TikTok, I think just our backbone of the whole platform is creators and like diversity of creators. So it's really cool that, you know, even internally, like I'm sure you remember, like there's a lot of programs for like API employees or just like creators and just like focusing and really giving a lot of heart to it, which I really appreciate. I haven't worked really anywhere else to know how it like, is in other companies, but yeah, this is all it. But it's a high marker for me, going to other companies because they, at TikTok, people really, really care about the communities that they're uplifting, which is really, I don't know if it's rare in other places, but like for here, it sets the bar. So wherever I go next, I'm like, y'all, TikTok be doing this.
It's like, what does your ERGs look like?
Yeah, like, no, definitely. Are you like focusing on like, you know, the community that you're like uplifting for that month? Or are you just kind of like, oh yeah, here's some like Asian people to put on?
No, seriously. Also too, it's like not even just during these cultural months or moments, but like how do we continue this outside of that?
Yeah.
You know, like versus like, okay, you guys got May and then like that's it. Like, no, like how do we continue these conversations following these cultural moments? Because like you guys aren't just here for a month, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Girl, we're here.
I know.
I'm here to say.
I know. And even guys, little background. So Saskia and I actually met at TikTok. TikTok, I'd say, was my second job because I was working at ByteDance, but still the same family, if you don't know, all under the same umbrella. And Saskia's always been on the social media side. I used to be in social media on my other team, but I quickly transitioned into partnerships. Like I was telling you before, like I remember having that always on mentality.
Yeah.
I guess for you, like working in social media and also having that always on mentality, like how has that affected your mental health? Like overall,
you said bomb. Oh, I could go on for days about this.
Yeah, I was like, I actually quickly had to make that shift out of doing someone else's social media because I wanted to put more time and effort into my own.
Yeah.
And I just remember like everyone has a different voice, but we wanted to be a certain voice. And it just was a lot that went into being the voice of a large social media page.
Yeah. It's very, I mean, it's not easy and it's not for the weak, I think. And I feel like my mental health has been affected by the role in many different ways, in good ways and bad. And it's just like a matter of like managing it. And it's taken me a long time, especially it was my first job. So like, and it's social is very demanding. A lot of people don't think that it is, but I think because it's like 24/7 and there's like misconceptions of, you know, there's a social media team or like they're just an intern, but it's usually like one person doing, you know, everything from like creating the idea, sometimes like creating the asset, you know, executing and then reporting on it, doing the analytics, like, and then having to do that again for the next post.
Engaging on the like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And like commenting and like copywriting. It's like so much and it's often on one person for the most part. Like right now, I'm just a team of me, an agency, and like my manager, and like it's just a lot. And so I think it's really taxing, but it's even more so hard and sometimes hard for me to wrap my head around that it's like TikTok is a platform, and then there's a social account representing the brand.
Yes.
And so that is also weird because it's like it's different than any other like product, say like a water company or like a water bottle company, you know, like you have a product that you're selling. This one is like the platform itself, and there's so much also going on
much
within the platform.
Yes.
So, and like what we talk about all the time is that TikTok is the center of culture. And so how do we like portray that on our social media accounts is like that TikTok is like the center of culture, because there's so much culture going on in different facets. Like not everyone's For You page is the same. So how do we kind of condense that all to like show the brand, TikTok as a brand? It's very, I could go on mental.
There's so many things going on.
Yeah, mental gymnastics that I'm like, ooh. But I've like worked through a lot of like mental health. It's taught me a lot, especially about like what I appreciate in like jobs and like what I like to do. But yeah, social is a lot, and definitely I'm like kind of making strides to focus on my own self, you know, because thinking always like sometimes in the past it was like scrolling on TikTok and then I just kind of like think about work because I'm like, oh, this trend, we could hop on this trend. There's this. So
you never always, shut it off.
Yeah. So I think it's been a great learning lesson, and I've learned so much stuff from it. But yeah, I'm kind of like interested in what I could apply that to.
Of course.
Whether it's my own, whether it's another brand, or I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, you got the skill set, girl. You've been
it's a lot.
Literally there on your back. Like they've been on your back these past 3 years.
I'm like, oh my God, don't look at me.
I know.
Don't look at me.
All right. So we touched on mental health at work a little bit, but I want to touch on mental health in your community. I know you brought it up a little bit earlier, but what does that look like, and how do you cope with all of it right now?
Yeah. Well, mental health, she's been in the ringer a few times this year. But I've been making like really good strides, like therapy and everything. But I think mental health in the Asian community has been like a very interesting thing that I've talked about. And TikTok honestly has helped me like really dive into being first generation. So being like first generation of immigrant parents, I think is just such a unique experience that not, if you're not in it, like you don't experience all the feelings that come with just like dealing with your family coming to another country. And so I feel like that has been something I've dealt with like a lot, especially during college, like college and beyond. I've experienced that like with my family coming from Indonesia and like living here, and we weren't like the most affluent, like honestly a low income family. And so a lot of that I think is put on children, not by our parents, but like subconsciously it's like things we have to deal with. And so being on TikTok has been helpful because a lot of people have been sharing their like first generation experiences that I like love watching, because I'm like, oh, I'm not alone. And so that's something I've always wanted to talk about too, just like maybe like posting on TikTok too, just like especially being an eldest daughter in a first generation family. I have a little brother, but it comes with a lot of pressure that is just like inherently put on ourselves. Like having to support a family that, you know, didn't know how to speak English for part of their time. And so I feel like it's been a journey to kind of work through a lot of it, especially like being in a very collectivist society, like in our Asian community, it's community, like everyone's helping each other. Whereas like moving to America, it's like very individualistic. Yes. And it's kind of like you're on your own, good luck, which is why finding like Asian community, Asian pockets here has been really helpful for my family. But even then, so like my mental health it's been a journey, you know, doing things for myself and like realizing that I don't have to carry a lot of guilt with my family, and just like working through it, especially like, you know, setting boundaries with family. I don't think that's a lot. Like my family didn't know what boundaries were. And so like setting that up and like working through it in therapy has been really helpful. And I think just now, a lot of first gen I notice are like going to therapy, like, and kind of working through a lot of the trauma that comes with being, you know, first generation and Asian immigrant. And that's a lot.
And emphasis on the firstborn as well.
Yeah, firstborn. It's very, I talk about it with my boyfriend a lot, just like my brother doesn't experience all of that I experience, especially when it comes, my parents, they speak English, but then sometimes they want to like lean on someone because they don't think their English is the best. And so they come to me and I'm like, I don't know. I also had to fill up my FAFSA by myself. I don't know how to do taxes. Like I'm learning as well.
Yes.
So it's like, I have to, grow up really fast to be able to take care of both myself, but then also my family, which is like a lot to carry, I think. And not a lot of people, who grow up and are like maybe other generations, like, their family has been here for a while. It's like it's having to build a foundation from the ground up. And I think that takes a toll on our mental health.
Definitely. Because you feel like you are the one that everyone's depending on.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, if I mess up, what's next? Or like, and then you don't want to feel shame about any of it. I've heard like from a lot of like different immigrant families, and again, being first gen and then being the firstborn specifically, like you really carry that weight on your shoulders because like, all right, what are you going to do now? Like everyone's depending on you. And I'm like, that I know is probably a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not to diminish like my family's or my parents' journey here and all the hardships that they go through. But I think because of all the hardships that they've gone through, that's like extra pressure on me that I put on myself to make it worthwhile for them. And so it's been a journey of just like even getting to a point where I'm like, me just being happy and like not having anxiety or like not being depressed could be good enough to the journey that my family came here for makes it worth it. Me
Definitely.
Living a good life and like living a life for myself and being happy. I think that makes it worthwhile for my parents. And even though I can't give them everything monetarily, that just like me being in a good state, I'm able to like be a good daughter to them and like take care of them when I can. But it's taken a long time to like get to this
point. Here.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're still working through it.
We're still working through it. Yeah. And like Bretman Rock, for example, like I look up to, I love him as a creator.
I love him too.
I love him as a creator.
Oh my goodness.
So like just like him as a person, I love him.
Yeah.
But like he talks about his like family and how he's been able to support them and just like the journey that he's gone on. I admire that so much. And it's like something I've always wanted to strive for. I can't stress about it if I don't get there, but it's something to strive for. And so I really like love looking up to him on that and like applying that to my family. But yeah, it's a journey. I'm still working on it, like every day, being nice to my family, even though I'm going through stuff, and like also acknowledging like for them, therapy is like very weird to them. It's not, I don't think as common.
Like, why do you need therapy?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're like, why do you need therapy? I'm like, because how you raised me sometimes like gave me some stuff.
PTSD.
And they're like, what? I didn't do that.
Oh my goodness, like, Saskia. It's something, honestly, even like with our generation collectively, I love that we are like digging deep to our core, figuring this out while we can. So we can be like a better version of ourselves in the future. Because even I just think, my mom, like she's not an immigrant whatsoever. But when it comes to therapy, it's like, and she's not like super like against it. But like I know some family members are like, why do you need therapy? Or like, and it's just older generations where it's like they kind of, and again, kudos to them. They did so much for us to be here.
Yeah.
But then also we never have to kind of sit in that trauma and then let it continue for generations to come. I think acknowledging like, okay, I was not perfect. Here are some things that I could have done. It's so important to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
And to make sure like when your kids are here, you can be like the best gentle parent as possible. Yeah. Like, I can't wait to be a gentle parent. I know some people hate that, but I'm like, I will not be smacking my kid upside the head. Like, that sounds crazy.
No, like crazy. And you know what? I like in the beginning of my relationship with Nick, I was like, oh, that's normal, whatever, because like that's how my parents were with me. And then like years therapy, I was like,
shoe flying at you from the corner.
Yeah, literally like a wooden spoon.
Yes. You said this is normal.
Yeah, I was like, this is normal. That's how I'm going to raise my kids. And then I like therapy. And I was like, whoa, I'm definitely never going to do that. Yeah. I would just want to like hold them, tell them I love them so much.
The little learning corners they have now.
I just want them to like blossom and like be loved and like.
And not be afraid of your parents, which again, it's like, obviously everyone has different experiences. Even the kids who got whoopings. Like I think a lot of us turned out okay. Yeah. But I'm like, going through that, it makes you a little bit afraid to like maybe talk to your parents about things, or like, you know, I would like to be the parent where my kid is very comfortable with me and not crazy. Like, obviously I'm still your parent, but I don't want you to be scared of me ever.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's a thing in Asian communities too, that like sometimes our parents aren't as open emotionally with us, just especially like being immigrants too. Like there's so much trauma in that they have to like close themselves off. Like my dad, he's not the most like emotional person, but we're like kind of working through it. But it's like, it's different. Like I don't want that relationship with my kids. Like I want them to tell me everything and be open to tell me like the negatives and the positives in their life, and like me helping them through it and like connecting with them emotionally. Like that's what I hope in the future. That's what I'm working towards.
Yeah, that's all we could really want.
Yeah, I have to heal this
I know.
part of me, and then I can move forward. But it's like the most exciting thing that like for me in the future, I'm like, I could do that with my kids.
Yes, girl. The amount of TikToks I have saved for like parenting tips. I'm like, girl, I'm not about to be a parent anytime soon. I promise. But it's just like little things. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Yeah. Oh, this is adorable.
Yeah, and I'm gonna teach my kids how to cook. Like a Montessori kid.
Like the little, It's like the little kids on TikTok with the cooking. Yeah. Like they have a whole kitchenware. Like it's crazy.
They're set for life.
They have skills. Oh, I'm absolutely in love. We'll be great parents one day, Saskia.
I know. You, Brandon.
Stop.
Those kids are going to know everything because they're going to be so driven like you.
Look, I'm going to get them the little kitchen set. I'm like, Saskia, one day we're going to be sitting there with a hot pot. Going through different cultures. Like you will be a culture child.
Yes.
Like no questions asked.
Yeah. I'll take them to the Asian hot pot. Come on, let's go.
I'll drop them off. This is on camera, Saskia. So when I need to drop them off.
Fast forward 10 years later.
She's like, Amber, I changed my number. I'm so sorry. All right. Before we wrap up the Keep It Cute podcast, I always like to ask a few fun questions to my guest of the week. So this week, Saskia, we're going to end this with a few questions. Question number 1, who was your most listened to artist in 2022?
Oh my God. It's Miss Taylor Swift. I love her. I don't know why. I just got like a really big Taylor.
You got the bug.
Yeah. I've listened to her all like my life, and I just she was my number one. I was like, whoa, I didn't think so. And I was like, wait, no, like I know all her songs.
Yes,
like, I'm a fan.
Sometimes I'm in denial about some artists too, but then they perform and I start singing every word. I'm like, am I a fan? Am I a fan?
Yeah. I saw her in Las Vegas like a couple months ago in her first couple of shows of her 3-hour tour. Oh my goodness. I like sang every song and I was like, whoa, where did that come from me? Like what? So Taylor Swift.
It's been brewing.
I like her. I love her music.
Lovely. Okay, question 2. So maybe not artists, but who was your most listened to podcast in 2022?
Oh my God. So I love my podcast, but the one that I really love was Pretty Basic with Alicia Marie and Remy Ashton, Miss Remy Cruz. Love her. Love them both. Like they were my most, I don't know. I think it's just like similar to this. Like they're just like talking, chit-chatting, talk about like girl stuff. And it's just like, I love listening like on my way to work and stuff. So
sitting in that LA traffic for hours.
Yeah. I'm just like, 2 podcasts. It's like, I could listen to 2 podcasts in one drive home.
That is crazy. I probably could do that like on these busy streets down here. It says you're like 0.3 miles from home, but it's going to take you like 17 minutes to get home. And I'm like, that math is not math.
Not math. I
know, it's like, this does not make sense.
Bad traffic. But yeah, I could listen to that podcast. I love it. I've been fans of them since like college. I went to like one of they had like a live showing and I went by myself and I like asked them a question on their Twitter and they asked the question like live, and they're like, "Oh, it was something about Coachella," and they're like, "Are you here in the audience?" And I'm like, "I am. I'm here."
That is too sweet.
So I'm an OG listener of them. I love, and now I'm an OG listener of Keep It Cute.
Period. You heard it here first. I love it. Next, if you were an ice cream flavor, what ice cream would you be?
I believe. This is like my favorite ice cream, and I feel like I resonate with it. And Neapolitan ice cream.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just feel like it's like a lot of different classic flavors in one, and like love it.
Yeah,
it's kind of basic, but they don't like sell it in a lot of ice cream shops.
I was like, that's kind of like an OG ice cream flavor, but I don't see it a lot anymore.
Right? I don't see it like at a Salt and Straw. Oof, they don't have
they're
it.
definitely not gonna have Neapolitan. It's gonna be strawberries, Captain Crunch, something.
Yeah, they're making olive oil ice cream. And so like even at Rite Aid, like at a Thrifties, they don't even have Neapolitan ice cream. So
not even Thrifties.
Where is it? Yeah, not even Thrifties. I've checked.
She's like, I've checked every single store, I promise.
But I love a good Neapolitan. Like I love a good chocolate vanilla. Like there's like the basic side, maybe like the vanilla side. Like the chocolate side is like so sweet, and like strawberry. I don't know.
Just the mixture of it all.
Just the mixture of it all. I'm a person that likes options, and that multiple options in one. So I can never get bored of it.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, it sounds good.
Yeah.
And lastly, so what are some of your favorite Asian-owned brands? I've had this question for a few people now, but put us on. Like, it could be food, fashion, beauty, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny because like some of the Asian-owned brands that I've like become familiar with have really been because of TikTok, and like they would send gifting like with all these Asian-owned brands. So the ones that I love that I've gotten from that, Tower 28 Beauty, I think their blushes rock, and
the concealer, eczema girl friendly.
Oh really? Yeah. I didn't know that. I love like their like lip stuff. It's just so like juicy, you know what I mean? Like ooh, juicy.
You kill me.
I don't know how else to say that. It's just that.
It is though.
Yeah, you know, like ooh, glassy. I love it. I love that. And then one that I wanted to try for a long time, and then that I got in a gift package at TikTok, but then my dad threw it away. I'm like, rude.
Oh no.
Was Omsom, which is like an Asian owned, like their sauces for food. So like different cuisines, like whether it's like Korean or like Thai. And sometimes those bases of those like sauces or like for meals is very hard to make because you need like all these ingredients, like all these different sauces. So they make it into like one pouch, for example, and then you could just like mix it with meat and like vegetables, and it's like the meal. And I'm like, wow, that's so easy. It makes it really easy. So I really like them because they're like bringing Asian flavors to like girlies who like can't cook like me, you know. I can cook, I just
you
don't
said we're not throwing the
cook.
Spices together, but it's already there.
They make it so easy. Like a Thai larb, for example, they're just like mix the sauce with the meat, and it's there already.
And voila.
Yeah, so I love them. Those are the two that like from the top of my head.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's taking notes. I am myself as well. I need to get me some more Tower 28 Beauty, honestly.
Yeah, they're blush.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy them. But I guess that is us wrapping up this episode of the Keep It Cute podcast. Saskia, thank you for joining this episode.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing bits of your culture with me and the podcast. I've learned a lot myself, and I hope it has also helped others out there as well. So I appreciate you.
Oh my God, I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me chit chat and talk.
Of course.
Gab, you know?
I was like, you are the perfect personality. Seriously.
Oh, I could go on and on, y'all.
Look, she's like, actually, are you sure we're done?
Yeah. She's like, what do you want to talk about?
I know. I love it.
Amber's like, we need a cut now.
It's okay. You guys know what it is. Tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST to the Keep It Cute podcast. And for all of the behind the scenes and tidbits, make sure to follow at Keep It Cute Pod on all socials. I'll see you next week. Good night.
Bye.